Um, this evening we are going to be working with a very interesting data set, customer orders. So this workbook has 3 worksheets. The first worksheet is customer information. The second worksheet is orders information, and the third one is phone numbers. Each of these worksheets have something in common. If you look closely, for this first one, this customer worksheets, you'd see that we have 6 columns: customer ID, first name, last name, gender, city and country. For orders table, we have 6 columns also. We have orders ID, we have order ID, we have customer ID, we have order date, we have products name, we have quantity, and we have unit price. Lastly, in this workbook, the worksheet phone number has 2 columns. We have the customer ID and phone number. So tell me, what column do you think is common to all worksheets? Thank you. Brilliant. So the customer ID is common to all 3 worksheets. So, for this one, we have the customer information. This one has the order of each customer. So which means at a point we might have one customer occurring multiple times because they bought different products, right? And then the last one, which is the customer phone number, this keeps tracks of the customer that have left behind or filled in the phone number in probably the customer form that they were given. Because if you scroll down and you try to get the number of phone numbers given here, you see that we have 147, and if you take away the first one, that's 146 phone numbers. If you look at the customer information, you see that from 1, if you scroll down, you have 151 customers, right? So, and then we have 146 here, so which means that 5 customers did not put in their name, their numbers. So which means if we try to merge these 2 tables, would have some of those columns being empty. But we're not talking about merge right now. We're going to talk about merge later. So let's try to create some calculations with some of the fields that we have. Okay, so here in the orders table, we have order ID, customer ID, order date, the product, the quantity, and the unit price. I'm going to create a new column here. No, that's not what I want to do. So I just created a new column here so that I will have customer ID, order ID, customer ID, order dates, product quantity, and unit price. And at the end of each purchase, I can have something called the total, which is going to be the multiplication of the quantity and the unit price. Does that make sense? Okay, so how do we do that? So we've done multiplication. So can you tell me how we're going to go about this? Okay, and then we can perform the same operation here also, right? But then we cannot do this for all 500 rows. You want to say something? Exactly. So instead of dragging down, we can just put in our mouse here at the corner here. You see that this changes from light to a small plus sign. So once it changes, you can just double tap that. Once you double tap or double click, you'd see that it's those people that use I don't want to say laptop that will double click. Some of us we just tap, but if you are using the mouse, you click. Just tap your mouse and then it will. No, I'm not using the mouse. I'm using my system this thing. So I'm just tapping. I'm not clicking. So but then yes, once it shows the black sign, just double click if you're on the mouse, or if you're using your laptop's system, just tap and then it's drags, it's auto completes. No, you don't need to drag. Just once it changes, so just double tap. Yes. Okay. 2 twice. Yes. So if that is set up, then you can configure this to look like this. Just copy the format. So right now I'm right on unit price. I'm just gonna come here and choose paint formats. Then I'm going to go to my G column and apply that. So that way all the values get this paint brush here. Then you click on that and then it changes to this brush. Can you see the brush? You can see the brush, right? Then you come to the column where you want to apply it. In a unit sign. Exactly. Yes. So this one makes it more readable, because this is in currency, right? So it makes it more readable. So if you want to change this value, you can come to accounting here, and then you can choose whichever accounting format that you want to use. If it's Great Britain, Euro, Chinese, French, and then other formats you have here. But I'm just going to leave it as it is. So any question up to this point? You understand, right? Good. So we could also check if we have missing values there. So how do we check? Manually, we can just scroll down like this and check if we have missing values in our data, because right now we are trying to perform our analysis on this data set. So now what I'm going to do is that I want to check if I have blanks here. I'm going to say equal to, and I'm going to use something called count blank, which is a function in Excel that counts my blanks for me. I'm just going to apply this, and then I'm going to pick the range. So I want to count from A to A2 is the name of, is the cell reference for this first cell on this column, and then I'm going to use this column right here, and I'm going to click this last one, which is like what? Like a ratio, exactly. Yes. So if I do that now, it's telling me that there are no blanks there. So if I fill that across, so I can also drag across. So this is telling me that there are no blanks across here. So which means all the and all the columns none of it has blank values. So if you look at the formula at the top, you'd see that because we did not lock any of the cells, you'd see that as we move across, A changes to B, and then every other thing maintains. So if I drag down, you see that 2 is going to change to 3, 3 to 4, and I don't want that, so I'm just going to leave it as it is because I have my formula in its right format. Okay, does it make sense? Any confusion? Any confusion there? Yes, yes you can. Yes you can. But I just want to yes, yes you can. I just want to distinguish between the data sets and the empty values. Yes, exactly. Can we go on now? Excel function. Exactly. Have you noted that? Great. Can we proceed now? Okay. So now that we are sure that we don't have blanks, we can go on with whatever we want to do. So the next thing I want to do is to turn this to an Excel table. So how do I do that? So I don't want to keep scrolling up. I'm just going to do Control Shift up arrow to take me back up. So now I want to convert this data into an Excel format. I'm just going to ensure that I have one of the cells in the table clicked or actively selected, and I'm going to ensure that I don't have space in between. Right now I have, I'm just going to I have space here because if there's anything between, you can see this is H, this is R, which means if I unhide this, that means something is between. It will exempt those ones out. So if I pick one, or if I make one of this active, Excel is going to look at this side if it is empty, and where is the last one, and it's also going to look at this lower side too. So it's going to create all the values in between. It's going to convert it into an Excel table. So that's why I purposely did not add this one on the last line, because if I add this is going to be added to the table. Okay, exactly. So that's why I put in a space there. So now that I have one active cell selected, I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to go to this here, Table. Just going to click on that, and then it's going to verify that the range of my data is A1 to G501, which is correct, and that my table has headers, which is also correct. So I'm going to select OK, and this is what happened. Sorry? Just any cell, yes. I'm picking any cell. Okay. Are we on the same page? Abutidaru. Any of the data in Yes, exactly. Just email. Good. Great. So we can continue then. So now that we've changed or converted this to an Excel table, we can perform some a little analysis there. So if you scroll down, if you click on this drop down, you'd see that you can check and uncheck this. I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to leave it as it is. You can do, a couple of other things here. You can choose for a particular year. So right now this is arranged by year because Excel understands that this is a date. So if I uncheck everything and I pick just 2015, it's going to apply and only display for 2015. Can you see that? It's going to only display for 2000, the date that the year is ending with 2015. Okay, if I unselect that and I choose 2014, you can see that it automatically updates because I have this auto apply selected. Can you see? If I uncheck this, if I do 2013, sorry, this is it, auto apply here. Can you see my cursor? Auto apply. That's not where my cursor is. My cursor is in the drop down. Can you see the drop down? Can you see order dates drop down? The drop down from order dates. You can't see it. Okay, please hold on. Okay, what about now? Can you see it now? So this is auto apply. This is auto apply. If I click 2015, you see that it gets selected. If I uncheck that and I pick 2012, you see everything gets updated. So I don't need to click apply filter before it does that for me. Okay, do you understand? I can also sort in ascending order. That's from 2011 or for you can select everything and sort in ascending order 2010 to 2015, and then in descending order from 2015 down to 2010. Okay, I can do more. There are no colors here, so this is just font. But then if I have condition formats apply to this data, I could also filter by color. But right now I don't have any of that, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. So the same thing I could do for quantity, and I could do the same thing for price. Let's order this price, this total price, by descending order. Just going to leave this in descending order. So the highest value, which is 540, gets displayed first, and then every other thing comes next. Okay, great. So now that's that about Excel table and how you can manipulate the values that get displayed. But then that's not all. If you look at the top right here, you can do more. You can summarize this table into a pivot table. In fact, it's actually very important that you name your table. I'm going to name this table orders table, like this. Let's order table. I'm gonna name that. So I'm gonna leave it as it is. Just gonna click this, should make it active. So I can summarize this data. Still picked one of the active cells. I can remove duplicates. So if I click on remove duplicates, it's going to check if there are duplicates in this data set, and it's going to remove it. And then it's going to, and then if you say convert to range, it's going to convert this data to range. If you click on insert slicer, it's going to create this small editable slicer where you can create a custom filter. So a slicer is just like one of these that we are clicking on, that allows you to narrow down your search. But then this time around, you have something like a button at the side here that you can click instead of clicking on this drop down. So you can make manipulations to your header row, total row, banded rows, first column, last column, banded columns, and then filter buttons. Additionally, you can also choose an Excel table style. So if I click on this drop down, you have access to all these table formats where you can choose, and then the format of the table changes. You can see that the color has changed. Okay, I can also do more. Just gonna say, just click on this. You can see changes. But always ensure that no matter the font and the theme, they are not conflicting each other. The matter the style that you're choosing, the font and the theme, they are not conflicting each other. So I'm just going to pick one of this randomly and leave it. Okay, makes sense. Can we go on? Okay, so now that that's settled, we can create more columns from this data. So we can extract some of the years here. We can extract the month, the day, and the year from this date. So let's create columns here, and let's talk about how to extract dates. So I'm going to call this day. I'm going to say day. Okay, and then I'm going to pass this in. This is returning a year format, so I'm going to come back to home. This is in date format. I'm going to change the format back to number. Okay, I'm going to highlight the whole column and change it back to number, so you can see now that it's now in number. So this is, the day is 12, the day here is 16, is 25, is 1, is 8. So this is in decimal. I just want to reduce the decimal configuration. I'm going to reduce it, clicking on this decrease right here, so that everything looks good. So I'm going to create another one. Sorry, you want to say something? Exactly. So I have month also. Let's choose month. Then still the same dates, and then you see that the month gets returned. And the last one, I'm going to choose year. Okay, so everything is sorted now. Okay, any problem? Okay, great. So that being said, we can then sort out our year now by year like this, the way we did the other time. You can just click on yes, click on a particular year, 2012, and then all those records get pulled out, and you can confirm 2012 here, 2012 here, so everything looks good. So that is that about that. I'm just going to clear this format. Okay, so now that that is been sorted out, the next thing we want to do here is that we want to know which customer bought what. Okay, or we might just want to look at this customer table, customer information, and convert this also to an Excel table. So go to inserts, go to table, and then click OK. Okay. I'm gonna do the same here also. Insert, table. Okay. Okay. Alright, so now we have this information right here. Everything is good. We can also sort this city. We can pick a particular city of our choice. Lagos, I think we have Lagos here. Okay, yes we do. So I'm gonna uncheck everything and pick Lagos. So these are the customers. We have 3 customers in Lagos. So what I want to eventually do is that when I pick a particular location, I want to see the order that they have, the products that they have purchased, and be able to have access to their order history. And then in just one worksheet, I want to have access to a customer order information, a customer order information, their contacts, and their current location. Are we still together? Good. So at the moment, I'm just going to create a column just right before this product. Click this, and then I want to have the customer name. Okay, and for that customer name, I want to concatenate something here, so I'm just going to uncheck this filter. Exactly. So I want to concatenate the full name. So I want to have the customer's full name here. So that will have equal to Concat. So Concat is an Excel function that we use to combine 2 columns or 2 cells together. So this cell, comma, this cell, I close that and I hit enter. is going to concatenate this first name and last name column together. Makes sense? But as it is now, it looks non-readable, looks like Greek. So I might want to make it more human readable. So I'm going to put in a space in there. So right before the last name, I'm going to write a space. My space is just going to be this, then put this, and then this. Okay, so that it's concatenating the first name with space with the last name. Okay, so I hit enter. Let's see. Yes. So you need to ensure that it's double quotation. You need to ensure that it's double quotation, not single quotation. Okay, so you can see that that is appearing, better now. So we have the full name, that's first name and last name. We have the gender, we have city, and then we have country. So now I can put in this column now the customer name, and it should be this concatenated field, full name. Okay, so what I want to do is that I want to have this customer information, that's customer full name here, and I want to put into consideration their order ID. So it has to look for 10030. So if I come to customer table here, I have to scroll down. If I do 10030, it should give me this big name based in, okay, it should give me this person's name. But if I do that manually, I could take like forever to finish this. So I'm going to use Excel's formula VLOOKUP to do that. So VLOOKUP is short for vertical lookup. So I'm just going to say VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP takes in a lookup value, which means there has to be something common between the two tables. So something is common between this orders table and customer table. Can you tell me what is common? The orders table and the customer table. The column that is common. The column that is common. It's customer ID. No, not order ID and customer ID. Yes, the only column that is common between customer and order table is, yes, is this customer ID. So the lookup value is going to be the customer ID because that is what is common, comma, your table array. So where do you want Excel to look for this value? Okay, so I'm going to go to this table, which is this right here. I already have it selected. So because I just clicked on that table name, it's already picked it here to be what? Customer, right? Just customer. Just customer. I remove that. So now the next thing is the column index. So which column do I want to return? I want to return this column D, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth table, sorry, the fourth column. So for this column index number, you are returning the index number of that column, which is what? 4. because letter D is 4. So we are not returning full name, we are returning column, the column number, not the column name. Then the next comma is, what do you want to return? Do you want to return an approximate match or an exact match? So I want an exact match because I'm dealing with figures. I don't want to approximate anything. So I'm just going to close that and hit enter. Okay, seems there's an error somewhere. I'm gonna do that again. The customer ID. Customer ID, comma, the table, which is okay, I know why it is giving me this, because this table is not named yet. So I'm just going to highlight the whole thing. So I'm just going to say table A and then hold shift, and then that's customer, then A to G, then column should be 4, and then the approximate match is false. Okay, that should work. So everything looks good now. So what it has done now, it has gone to pick that Brittany buys then for me. So everything looks good now. All right, are we good? Okay, are you confused?